Hi there. I just had a week's staycation, uh, which was not exactly as Jen and I had envisaged a few months ago, but far more restful than I perhaps was expecting. We live in such a beautiful area, as I'm sure most of us recognise. It's amazing to be able to explore so many places just from the front door. We had to walk along Shapwick Heath, across to Loxley Woods, down to Butley Moor just south of the Poldens. Just three of the places that we were able to visit during our week's staycation. As I say, really refreshing and relaxing, more than I was expecting. One thing I'm doing at the moment is to host a number of virtual coffee mornings. I've been inspired by the examples of a couple of folks. Anita Hain and Andy Savage have been hosting virtual coffee mornings as well. And the way I'm trying to do it is to do it village by village, alphabetically. So before Easter, I was able to host ones for Ashcott and Birtle. Thursday this week, it's going to be for Catcott, and I'm hoping to cover Chiltern, Poldon, Eddington and Shapwick in the next couple of weeks. So what I'd like to do now, this evening, a wonderful sunny evening here in Shapwick, is to talk a bit about prayer and Sabbath rest, prompted mainly by a couple of things that I've read fairly recently. There was a news item in the latest copy of the Week magazine that struck me as soon as Jen showed it to me. It's very short and pithy, so I'll read it directly. Google searches for the word prayer have skyrocketed during the COVID-19 pandemic. Last month, they doubled with every 80,000 new registered cases of the virus globally, according to a University of Copenhagen study. That's it. That's all there was in the article. And the summary oversimplifies things a little bit. Clearly it's relevant just for the results up to the end of March. We don't know how it applies throughout the pandemic. Nevertheless, it's consistent with what tends to happen in response to other major natural disasters. What the coronavirus is reminding us is how little we're actually in control. You know, our 21st century Western lifestyles can often delude us into thinking that we can control our own destinies. To a very limited extent, we can do, but sometimes we fail to realise to how limited an extent we can actually control even our own destinies. You know, it's a message that we should be hearing in other ways, with global warming, climate change in other ways. We should be realising that actually what we can control ourselves is so limited. But the coronavirus, COVID-19, is impacting us far more directly than anything else has done in years and years, in decades. And that's what's compelling people to want to search Google for advice on prayer. But here's the thing. If we have a faith in Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who rose from the dead 2,000 years ago in the first Easter that we celebrated just a week and a half ago, then we have the best news of all. We have a living and active relationship with the one who really is in control, God himself, the creator of the entire universe. And faith in Jesus opens up a way to a direct and personal relationship with him. Many of us already know this and enjoy this privilege. Let's not underestimate in any way what our relationship with Jesus gives us in terms of being able to pray to God, the one who is in control of the entire universe, who answers prayer, to whom we can bring anything we like to him in prayer. He is the one who loves us and cares for us in a far deeper way than we often realise. God really does answer prayer. Sometimes not in the way we expect, sometimes better than we expect, sometimes in a way that we find really challenging. But actually, God is the one who loves us deeply, personally, and we need to love and trust Him too, and realise that He does indeed answer our prayers. Let's celebrate and rejoice in that fact. The other thing about this lockdown situation is that it's as if we're in a kind of prolonged Sabbath. The whole point of Sabbath day rest, as God instituted it in the Old Testament, is it gives us a day in the week, one day in every 7, when we cease from work and when we can rest. Rest in itself is good, and where we can also develop our relationship with God Himself. So let us not miss the opportunity that this lockdown situation gives us. It's a prolonged Sabbath day rest, but at a time when people are searching Google for advice on prayer, we have a relationship, if we believe in Jesus, with the one who is able to answer all of our prayers. Let us take advantage of this. There are many disadvantages that this coronavirus lockdown is forcing upon us. But there is this advantage, that we're forced into a Sabbath day rest where we can't work as we normally do, but we can spend time with God, seeking Him, bringing our concerns to Him, and deepening our relationship with Him. It's an enormous privilege. Let's not underestimate that. Let's rejoice in that fact. So thank you for joining me again today. It's great to have this opportunity to share a few thoughts with you, and it's always a joy and a privilege to receive your thoughts and feedback in return. Don't forget, you can always call me or email me or whatever, and I'll do my best to respond in an appropriate way. Thank you for listening.